welcome to the Basketball Rules Expert. We are live from the beautiful, A Better Official World Headquarters here. My elite tech team has got me pumped up and ready to produce a tremendous show where we've learned some stuff. Some stuff we may have learned recently. We may have a situation from a game we had last night. Awesome. Great to see everybody here today. I am super excited, without a doubt. Darwin Sonata jumping in with big go blue energy from Michigan. Darwin, tremendous. Darwin, tell me what's going on. What's going on with my hair? Look at this crazy stuff going on. The pre-show shower was not in effect. Yeah, definitely a take the over day, but we had a great pregame. I have my crew and we are poised for greatness today. My issue with my teleprompter here was resolved last week. It was like, what's going on? But it's critical for this show because I got to read stuff. Mike Myers is in the house, and yes, exactly, Mike. Not because you like me, because you like the show. Awesome. Great to see you. Randy Wilson, snowed in Chicagoland. We had a beautiful day here in the San Francisco Bay Area. Comparable to the beautiful day on Sunday when I was at the 49er game. And the 49ers advanced with some clutch performance. Do we have any Eagle fans in the house? I can block them really easy. Adam C. Michigan is starting to dominate early. Greg Becker from Ohio, 4 to 8 inches. Wow. Does that knock out your background video? Huh. I don't understand that when that occurs, but it does occur. So what are you going to do? Chris Janish, supplier of tremendous video clips. We'll have some great clips for 5 Play Friday. Hope everybody joins. Yeah, definitely an over kind of day. Greg, was there an earthquake this morning? I am the last to know. I'm a sound sleeper, and I've been involved with my pregame with my tech team all morning, so I don't have any details about that. And don't... Jason Hayes, in the house, I think we may learn something today. The main thing we're going to learn is what the hell is going on with my hair. Scott, good to see you from Lawrence, Kansas. Snow is in effect. Mike, that's pretty balmy. Glad to see you checking in. Billy Mack is in the house, so our small little corner of Connecticut is covered. That's good. Rick, good to see you from Helena. Let's say there's constant pressure from the outside, like a coach who's having a successful season. I think Darwin Sonata can appreciate this, and they get overtures from other organizations. We have to extend the contracts. Where there's negotiation about treats and stuff. It's a bombardment. I'm here. Stan, a word to the wise. Don't fall. Don't fall for the under. Mike Connors is in the house. Good to see you, Mike. Peggy is on his tech team. Well, I think the chat's going before I show up. I apologize for the late start. Am I confident? My crew has put it together. It's going to happen. It's going to happen today. Today is the day. Oh, the coffee is... John says referees must take this game back. We allow too much unsporting behavior on the court and in the bench. Why do you think young referees quit? Right? It'll be a great play on Friday. Young official, unsporting behavior. Directed at them. They handle it well. Maybe room for improvement. We'll see that on Friday. Good morning, Thomas Hickey in the house from Milwaukee. Bucks going strong, back to full strength. Jason Lee is in the house. Good to see you, Jason. John, that's a great approach, right? Being direct and getting agreement with the coaches. When you come at them quick, and it's like of course they're going to say yes, right? We as a crew are approachable. I need one voice from your bench only, and expect your communication to be professional and respectful. Do you agree? Of course, right? Especially when we add the head nod, and then we have a basis for communication going forward. Remember our agreement? Good morning, Run Rides reps in the house. Joe Rasa. Snowy in the Midwest. Oh, excellent. Enjoy your week. Enjoy your week. Scott saying, go Chiefs. Do we have any Bengals fans in the house? Come on now. Let's just say you got to have your head on a swivel. The Zooch in the house as well. Rudy is in the house. You're going to be at the game? That's awesome. That's awesome. It's supposed to be great weather. Great weather. Very San Francisco Bay Area like. Cool and sunny. Preston Elkins in the house from New Mexico. Great to see everybody. Snowy Pennsylvania. Man, snowy. We have beautiful weather. What's going on? But earthquakes, apparently. Yes. My elite tech team is in the house. Do we appreciate them? Yes. Yes, we do. Was that video supposed to play? Yes, it was. Did it not play? No, it did not. Oh, one chance for the team to shine, and they dropped the ball. What are you going to do? I'm a little bit. I'll give you guys one more chance.
It's go time.
Gus and Oliver always making it happen here on the live stream, keeping our stream fresh, our audio crisp, our video, our background videos running properly. Oy, oy, oy. All right. Okay. I'm going to get poised. I'm going to have some coffee. I'm going to make sure I'm in the right spot. Ooh. Okay. Okay. You know, no matter how long you've been officiating, there's still opportunities to enhance our understanding of the rules. Even more experienced officials can learn something. Are we going to learn some stuff today? Yes, we are. Stick around. Greetings. Welcome back to the Basketball Rules Expert, the show where we take Federation rules, bring them off the printed page, breathe life, simplify, clarify, and amplify so that we can take those rules with us onto the basketball court where it is most important. Without delay, let us get started with our very first play scenario. I'm going to edit real quick here. Let's get started with our very first play scenario. Team B is out of timeouts and trails by 5 near the expiration of time. B1 scores a 2-point goal. The ball passes through the basket at 7.07 seconds remaining. The ball bounces 2 or 3 times before the official begins a visible count with under 5 seconds remaining. A1 never picks up the ball and time. A1 never picks up the ball and time expires with no violation. The officials rule that the game has ended. Were the officials correct? Yes or no? End of game scenario. Team trails by 5. They are out of timeouts. The officials know they are out of timeouts. They score a basket. There is 7 seconds when the ball passes through the basket. It bounces once or twice. The official then begins a count with the under 5 seconds remaining, and time expires without the opponent ever picking up the basketball. Energy in the building. Have the officials done things correct in this instance? So in this scenario, were our officials correct? Yes or no? Yes. Yes, they were. In this situation, the officials need to make a judgment about when the throw-in begins. Our guidance by rule is that the opponent in this situation, is allowed a moment or two, an ample amount of time to recognize that it is their ball for throw-in. When the ball passes through, right, it's just below the net at 0.7, the throw-in has not begun. That was weird. The throw-in has not begun, right? It's not until the ball is deemed to be at the disposal of the throwing team. This is a judgment that is made by the administering official in this situation. Teams are allowed an opportunity to recognize their responsibility for the resulting throw-in. So, in this instance, where a couple of seconds elapsed before the official began their throw-in count, the officials were correct by rule. This is a judgment by the administering official about when the ball is at the disposal and when the throw-in has begun. Can lead to confusion by the participants in the game, but this is the correct ruling on this play. Look at that screen. Come on, man. My tech team is elite. This may or may not have happened in my game last night, and may or may not be a play on 5 Play Friday. Oh, the end of game scenarios. John says 5-second violation or throw-in violation. Oh boy. Billy, are you saying you were a prescient person when the platters were in effect? Is that what you're saying? I mean, we certainly remember the platters, but not let's say in their heyday. All right, cool. I go there. I go there. All right, next scenario. Let's go. A1 is fouled by B1 during a successful try for goal. B1 then taunts A1. Teammate A2 then taunts B1 by clapping in their face. The officials rule technical fouls on B1 and A2 and that the T's did not occur simultaneously. A1 attempts their merited free throws. Team B then attempts 2 free throws. Then Team A 2 free throws, followed by a Team A throw-in at the division line opposite the table. Were the officials correct? Yes or no? Right, so we have dead ball technicals in this situation. Our inclination is that these occurred simultaneously, but we look at the rules to help us for guidance in this situation. So in this situation, we have a foul on a shooter. The fouling player then taunts the player that they just fouled. A teammate of the player who was fouled comes in and has unsporting comments as well. The officials assess both the original foul and subsequent technical fouls on 2 players and determine that these were not simultaneous, and we're going to administer free throws related to all of the fouls in this instance. Were the officials correct? Yes or no? Yes, they were. These are not, even though they occur during the same dead ball period, these are not simultaneous fouls, and each should be penalized in the order of occurrence, which will, of course, affect who ultimately gets the ball in this situation. So, our guidance here is these are not to be considered, even though they could happen very rapidly within a limited time frame, that these are not simultaneous fouls by rule. So this is great guidance because these situations will occur in our game. Also, in our game, we're compelled. Energy in the game wants us to, can we simplify the situation? Instead of shooting free throws here and then shooting free throws here and then shooting free throws here and then having a division line throw in, at other levels, they handle these situations differently and they're more compressed and save more time. But in this instance, we have a correct ruling by our crew. And this is great guidance for our game when we step onto the court. This single case play, right, can help us learn how to adjudicate play scenarios like this that will occur in our game. Lance has a false double. Lance, you are correct. I'm gonna ignore Billy and his platter. How did the platters come up? How did they come up? I missed it. Yeah, so the case play says these are not simultaneous fouls, right? And I think it's right to have. So we either have simultaneous technicals or a double technical. The case play, though, clarifies to me, right? When this play scenario was presented to me, my first reaction was, well, they seem to have occurred, in near the same time. But you could certainly imagine this scenario, play out, right? It's not uncommon, right? We have a taunt by one player and a teammate comes in and there's an unsporting action in that situation, and they seem related. But the case play gives us guidance that these are not to be considered simultaneous. And that is great guidance for me, which I had become a little disconnected with. And obviously, in my fight scenario that I just had a week or so ago, I sort of utilized the NCAA women's approach, which is, fouls of equal gravity in the same periods, right? So in a dead ball period, if we have a technical foul here, and then a minute later, we have a technical foul here, if those both occurred during the same dead ball period, those offset, right? It's a way to simplify things, right? And make things quicker. The game proceeds faster. But NFHS says that is not what we're about. We're about, So that. And it's not to say that I wouldn't in this situation. I think we have energy. We are inclined to want to group these for simplicity. It makes things so much simpler, right? Such, I think they're going to do well to start. We'll see later on. Michael Hogue is in the house. Good to see you, Michael. Patrick Weaver here to light me up about my tremendous Golden State Warriors. We get another chance tonight against Memphis. We should have the best effort from the Warriors. We'll see. Yeah, right. So if B1 had taunted A1 and then A1 stood up and taunted B1, right, then we have a double technical foul. But the case play it doesn't say specifically because it was somebody other than A1 who came in with the subsequent reaction unsporting technical foul in this instance, therefore it is not. We don't get that kind of guidance. We get like breadcrumbs related to case plays. Do the case plays always match up? No, they don't, right? Leaving us in the hands of interpretations and what have you. But this case play seems very concrete. And so that's why I say this is a great case play for us to bring with us on to the basketball court. And now, of course, we are going to take a moment and see what happens next. Hold on a second. I'm going to turn that off. So with that case play, we have something concrete that we can take with us onto the basketball court. The recognition that these are not related technical fouls and are to be treated as not simultaneous by rule. It's great when we have something that we can take with us. And I'll tell you something that we have here at A Better Official is we have tremendous show supporters. Who do we have up on the big board today? Brad Thompson, Luis Torres, Eric Eichhacker, Mark Fisher, and Kurt Johnson. Much appreciated and much love. If you want to support the show, I will put a link down in the show notes below, and I will put one up above. Huh. Don't know why that did that. Way to turn that off. Did I do that? I do every time I do the Steph Curry, Okay. Yes, Joel. Yes. Yes, it's because I mean the other thing is it makes our our game's going to flow better if we say these offset, right? We're going to resume with the fouls related to the shot with players in marked lane spaces, and the game moves on much quicker, right? Because we have tension in the building related to the technical fouls. We may have energy from the benches related to it, etc. And the process of, okay, we're going to clear the lane and this player's going to shoot. And then we're going to go down the other end and their player's going to shoot. And then we're going to go back to this end and their player's going to shoot. And then we're going to have a division line throw. And that whole process is going to take like 2 minutes, right? And, there's a lot of standing around and chance for comments and what have you. Does it make the game better to treat these as not simultaneously occurring? I don't think so. Good morning, Rick Watson. Good to see you. Excellent. State tournament already? Scott, there's, of course, I remind people of someone, and if you are really old, I remind you of Fred Gwynn of Car 54, Where Are You, and the Munsters, and My Cousin Vinny, Fred Gwynn, character actor. And if you are your age, I remind you of Bill Walton. And if you are a younger person, I remind you of House. That's right. I can always tell how old people are by saying who they say they remind me of. Correct, John. Correct. That is the ruling on the play. As laborious as the process would be, right? Laborious. Exactly. It's not a good look. I appreciate that. And I guess if people remember Fred Gwynn from My Cousin Vinny, that also puts them in a different age bracket. But if you're a Car 54, Where Are You? Right, then you are with Billy Mack down at the Senior Center. Adam, I can appreciate that. But let's look at some other plays and maybe we'll get some additional guidance. A15 is detected dunking 12 minutes before the game. Team B adds a player to the book with 4 minutes prior to the game. The officials rule technical fouls against A15 and against Team B and begin the game with free throws by Team B, then free throws by Team A, followed by a division line throw-in to Team A. Were the officials correct in this instance? Yes or no? All right, so we have 2 infractions before the start of the game. We have A15 dunking the basketball. This would be on the player. A15 would receive a technical foul. It's a bench technical foul. The head coach would receive an indirect. And then Team B adds a player to the book 4 minutes prior to the game, an administrative technical foul. The officials rule technical fouls in both instances, but was their adjudication of the play correct in this instance, where they assessed the penalty for one technical foul followed by the penalty for the other? Were they correct, yes or no? Yes, they were. This is the correct administration by case play and by rule. The two did not occur simultaneously. They're not to be treated as occurring simultaneously. We do penalize them in the order of occurrence and begin the game with the penalties for the technical fouls in the order of occurrence, and then a division line throw in opposite the table. So our crew in this instance is off to a great start. Pooh. Pooh. Oh, I need to do it, but Brian Kaplan from New Jersey. Excellent. I never actually saw the movie, but I say Utes all the time. I think things seep into the consciousness. Well, my partner and I, prior to our game, we came out early because the dressing room was so far from the court that we knew that our JV crew would not be coming back to the dressing room. They chose to stay on the court. So we went out early. We walk into the gym and it's like 24 minutes up on the clock. So we're adjacent to the stands, but teams are warming up, right? But has our jurisdiction begun, even though we're in the building? We had not assumed our position on the court. Is it possible that our visitors had a pregame dunk in that situation? It's possible. But no penalty. All right. Rick, you have put yourself in an age bracket with that, if you remember Car 54. What I remember, I don't really remember. No, I remember watching it. And being in black and white. Zooch is bringing the jinx. Yeah, messy business. I mean, because there's general confusion as well when we start the game with a T. The fans, nobody knows, right? If you have an announcer, you can really help the situation by saying, exactly what the order of occurrence is, etc. Mike, that's a great question, but the case play specifically defines this as not being simultaneous. But maybe, I wonder if we'll have a case play where two events occur and it is considered simultaneous. All I can say is Billy is on fire today. Billy is on fire. Okay. All right. It's on the agenda. It's messy, right? Well, obviously, if you have a situation where a dunk has occurred, right, our first reaction is, well, we don't want any more dunks, right? So I can tell you what I did in my game. It was the first game of the year. It was a foundation game, right? So it's like the first or second game of the year here in California. Player dunks. My partner comes to me. My young partner comes to me and says, "Hey, I have a pregame dunk." I'm actually working with my partner, that same partner, tonight at Piedmont High School. But he comes and says, "I have a pregame dunk on white 12." Okay, great. Get white 12, right? And I say, white 12, we're going over here. Go immediately to the coach. Say, "Coach, we have a pregame dunk by White 12. We are going to start the game with a technical foul. You have lost your privilege to stand and coach your team as a result. And he says, oh, this is like come on, it's like this is a warning, right? But with my young partner, I wanted to go through things by the book, right, as it were. So, and the coach then, yells at his team, hey, etc. So that's one way to do it. And we don't want to say, oh, wow, there's a dunk. Okay. All right. So we're going to assess a penalty for that. And then a teammate does the same thing, right? So. You got it, man. You got it. Back in the day. Back in the day. Ay. Well, by rule, Thomas, if Team A has 5 players dunk the basketball pre-game, then we have technical fouls on each of those players. We have 5 indirect technical fouls on our head coach, and our head coach would be ejected by rule. When would they be ejected? Ay. There you go. There you go. We have to have definitive knowledge. Yeah, we don't do that around here, Kevin. I've heard that technique, like, the officials are now present. Yeah. I don't know how to pronounce that. T-gar back 9. T-gar back 9. I don't know how to pronounce that. If we have multiple players dunk, it would be a technical on each of the offending players. If one player dunked twice, that would be 2 on them, and they would be disqualified by rule. That would be a messy situation. But each technical foul in this instance is an indirect on the head coach. Of course, when a head coach gets any combination of direct or indirect totaling 3, they are ejected by rule at the National Federation of High School Basketball level. So, messy. All right. Okay. All right. Yeah. Five minutes prior to the start of the game, Team A adds a player to the book. With 3 minutes before the game, Team B does the same thing. The officials begin the game with 2 free throws for Team B, followed by 2 free throws for Team A and a Team A throw-in at the division line. Were the officials correct? Yes or no? So, up to this point, we've had situations where technical fouls are considered to be not simultaneous by rule. But in this case play, we have a situation where technical fouls by both teams, right? These are not on individuals. These are on the teams. And our ruling in this instance is that these, since they are on the teams and occurred during this period, they are to be considered simultaneous by rule. right? That's a tough spot. So in this instance, where the officials did them in the order of occurrence, were our officials correct? Yes or no? No. No, they weren't, right? So this is where things can get confusing, right? We have case plays that say in some instances these are not simultaneous. These two events that occur at different times during the period before the game, but are considered to be similar enough by case play that they are to be treated as simultaneous. So we get a little bit of confusion, but the key here in the case play ruling is technical fouls on the teams, right? So you could have a situation where a player failed to submit their roster before the 10-minute mark, and then the other team does something administrative in that situation. A technical foul on the team is the takeaway from this case play scenario. But we can understand how there's confusion related to this, but that's the guidance we have. We never get from National Federation of High School Basketball rules, we never get a full relationship between case plays. They just stand alone, and we're left to sort them. But that would be my takeaway when I'm taking with me onto the basketball court. If we have a technical foul on Team A prior to the game, and we have a technical foul on Team B prior to the game, not on a player from Team A or a player from Team B or a player from Team A and the team, right? When we have technical fouls on both teams in this situation, those are to be considered simultaneous by rule, as non-intuitive as that may seem. That is the confusing one. Whew. Greg, you are correct. I thought I'd prepared all these questions so that the crew got them all right. And then that question came up and I'm like, I was unsure for a moment. Double T's. Wow, everybody get. Oh, I wish I had a Serenity Now GIF that I could just bring up. Oh, Gabe says on simultaneous technical fouls to start, how do you start the game? Well, how do we start when we have double or simultaneous technical fouls or fouls, etc.? It's always point of interruption. What is the point of interruption? I guess it's a little non-intuitive since the game hasn't started, but the point of interruption would be a jump ball. Absolutely, John. So all this pregame stuff, of course, all technical fouls, National Federation of High School Basketball rules add a foul towards bonus to the opponent. Mike Goodwin had a good point. I didn't see Mike Goodwin's good point. Yeah, so who would be for a revision of the casebook where it's brought up to date, where language is adjusted and corrected? It seems like that would be a positive development where, confusing situations were addressed. I know it would be a lot of work, and there'd be issues related to it, but it seems like at some point it needs to occur, right? And also an understanding about a clarification about rules. Like you could do it with rules interpretations, right? There's rules interpretations from the past, right? Maybe a way to consolidate those and say, because I guess the guidance is, hey, you're supposed to understand points of emphasis. Remember the points of emphasis from 2009? Well, those are still in effect. What if you start officiating in 2010? You don't know what the points of emphasis were in 2009. I have a rules book. I have a case book, right? I can officiate based on that. You can't bring in stuff from the past, a rules interpretation from 2001, right, that says this, and you're supposed to know that? That's ridiculous. I mean, it's nonsensical. So, maybe a way to consolidate rules interpretations and bring them forward, or understand a revisiting of all the points of emphasis from the last 5 years and bring those into a review of that and bring it into the rules book for the upcoming year. Let's remember that teams are not allowed before the game to encircle their opponents, right? And this should be a team tactical foul, and it needs to be preventative officiating and all. That was a point of emphasis. Is that a thing? If I look in the rules book, is that a thing? No. Oh, wow. More coffee. Indirect technical fouls do not count as team fouls. That's because they're not technical fouls. All right. Awesome. Yes, they do. Whew. Okay. All right. Our crew is doing great. 3-1. Right. Let's see how we do on our next scenario. Well, that's a lot of words. With Team A leading 45-30, A1 commits his or her fifth personal foul. Both the head coach and player are properly notified. Team A has substitutes available, but the head coach from Team A does not send a substitute to the table within the 15-second time limit. The Team A head coach is assessed a tactical foul. The head coach still does not send a substitute to the table. The officials rule the game to be over by forfeit, and Team B wins 2-0. Were the officials correct? Yes or no? Wow. Team is leading 45-30. The team that's ahead has a player foul out. The coach is not happy with this situation, is obstinate, does not produce a substitute. A technical foul is assessed on the head coach. The coach is obstinate and fails to produce a substitute even after that has occurred. The officials rule this to be making a mockery of the game and end the game and rule it to be a forfeit. In this instance, were our officials correct? Yes or no? Yes, they were. Right? This case play gives us some guidance in this situation. Failure to respond to a technical foul situation is to be considered a very serious issue. And in this instance, the head coach refusing to produce a substitute even after a technical foul is assessed is to be considered making a mockery of the game, right? Obviously, we would not rush into this situation, rush into this ruling, but this is the guidance by the case play that in this instance, right, Why was the interval reduced to 15 seconds? Because of coaches acting out in this situation. No, I get my 30 seconds, and they bring their team over, and we're going to have a little de facto huddle here to, show our resentment about the foul that you fouled out my star player or whatever, right? So the interval is reduced, and nothing can occur until the substitute is produced in this situation. That's a key thing to remember as well, right? The coach is being obstinate and failing to produce that substitute. A technical foul is assessed on the head coach. At that point, the coach must produce that substitute, and the failure to do so is to be considered making a mockery of the game, right? Now, obviously, we're not going to 2 seconds later say, no sub. Okay, game over, you lose, right? That's pretty severe penalty. But if that is the guidance in this situation, the coach remains obstinate and refuses to respond in this situation, a technical foul, or rather a forfeit, is on the table in this instance. And in this instance, our crew was correct. Something we could take with us onto the basketball court. Whew. Can you imagine? Boy, that would, I would have some, I'd have a situation where I'm not coming quick with that ruling. Not coming quick. Wow, that sounds like a daunting task. A video, the IBO I know does makes a lot of attempt to create videos related to rules so everybody can be on the same page. It's such a daunting task at the high school level. Tom, that would be tough. That would be tough. I don't know if the tech team would be up to it, but if anybody could do it, the tech team could. It does, John, but imagine the coach just refuses. He refuses. No, I will not produce a substitute, right? Coach, sometimes coaches lose their mind, right? Now, what if the coach then offers, in this scenario, right? We assessed a direct technical on the head coach for failing to produce a sub, and they then say, you effing suck, right? And we assess a second technical and they are ejected. Who has to produce the sub now? Oy, oy, oy. That you can take that to the bank. The case play here was listed on the but in the case play, it was the losing coach who failed to produce the sub. Hey, Joel, that's good. That again is something we take with us. The making a mockery of the game. Wow. Oh, that's tough. Tony, who does games by FIBA, has to do something under NFHS rules. Oh, that must be tough, right? In my situation, my game yesterday, where we had the ball go through the basket at 7 and no count, and the game ends. I know in FIBA, in that situation, the clock stops on the scored goal, eliminating all of that confusion. I have had that situation, Michael. I had it in my fight situation where the team only had 4 after the fight, and then one of the players fouled out, right? And so in this instance, we know that the team does not have a substitute available, and we're not asking for a replacement. Our case play, of course, had the substitutes available at the table. right? Yeah, this is probably the most severe action you can take, right? Tossing a coach, ejecting them, right, is a severe action. But ruling a forfeit, right? How are we going to end up in that scenario? It's got to be an extreme circumstance, one that don't want to rush into. We want it to be our only option, right? Let's think the scenario through. Same scenario, coach, I need a sub. No. Give me my 30 seconds, and gets the players over. No, horn, tactical, coach. What? Oh, hey everybody, we're walking out, right? They walk out of the gym. What are you going to do? It's a forfeit. It's a forfeit. They have left the gym. This game is over. They are the losers, right? So that's an easy, we're not going to well, boy, we should wait 5 minutes and see if they're going to come back, right? They have made that decision. The coach has said, I'm taking my team. We are leaving, right? Easy decision. In this situation, right, we're going to give a lot of rope, I would say. I know I would. This is such a severe action. Yes. Coach, if you fail to produce a substitute, a forfeit will be ruled. Coach, do you want to forfeit the game? Yes. Scott's yeah, so that's the key. I wish I'd had the wording. That's great, Mike. Thank you for producing that. The referee may forfeit a game if any player, team member, bench personnel, or coach fails to comply with any technical foul penalty, right? There is the guidance, right? Fails to comply with the technical foul penalty. Although in this instance, you just have failed to supply a substitute, and we can't proceed until you do. No. If nominated, I will not. I just like to throw stones from a distance. But I'm not good in a meeting scenario. So, Scott, on a pregame dunk, all the personnel on the court are considered. It's an intermission, the 15 minutes before the game, the intermission between the first and second period, halftime, and the intermission between the third and fourth period, or any intermission between the fourth period and a subsequent period. Those intermissions, by rule, all team members are considered bench personnel. So, if we have a situation where we have a pregame dunk, they are bench personnel by rule. If we have a situation where timeout, right? Player A1, ref, you suck. Technical foul. Is that player bench personnel by rule? Is it during an intermission? No, it's during a timeout. They are considered to be a player during a timeout. Same situation, end of the first period, right? Horn, ref, you suck, by A1. Are they bench personnel during an intermission? The intermission begins when the all activity for the period has ended, right? They are. So in that instance, yes, that is on A1. That is an indirect on the head coach, and they've lost their privilege to stand and coach their team. So that is what's up with that. Don't know. I don't think anybody does. The brutality of an ejection in Alaska. I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and a coach was describing a situation where he was ejected early in the game, and he had late arriving parents walking in as he's outside the gym saying, "What's going on?" Yeah, especially if it was the home team. Right. All right. Okay. Well, that was an extreme ruling, but we have that guidance by rule that failure to comply with a technical foul may result in forfeiture. So, with that, let's move on to our next play scenario. After a made basket and after A1 has picked up the ball for a throw-in, B1 reaches across the boundary and slaps the ball out of A1's hands. The officials rule a delay of game warning and admonish B1 not to do that again, then administer a throw-in to resume play. Were the officials correct? Yes or no? So after a scored goal, team player takes the ball and starts to begin their throw-in. An opponent reaches through the boundary plane, dislodges the ball. The officials rule a delay of game violation, give a stern talking to our offending player, and then resume the game with a throw-in. Were the officials correct in this instance, yes or no? This is one I hope we would all get correct. Indeed, they were incorrect by rule. While indeed we are going to assess a delay of game warning in this situation, a player violating the boundary plane and contacting the basketball is a player technical foul by rule. Violating the boundary plane and contacting the basketball, player technical foul by rule. Now, if our thrower had instead brought the ball through the boundary plane over the basketball court and our defensive player did the same thing, there is no violation in that situation. But it is a player technical to violate reach through the boundary plane and contact the basketball. So in this instance, our crew got this one wrong. Got this one wrong. Technical foul by rule. Yeah, these last few are just palate cleansers after those tough double simultaneous forfeiting. Hey. Yeah, we need to go easy here. Hey, it's that time of year, man. It's that time of year. Yes. So when the first time I had this, it was in a playoff game, a section final, I think. And I had the player technical as the administering official. I did not assess the delay of game warning. I realized after the fact, this would be great for the crew in this situation. When we come together, hey, I have a player technical, reached through the boundary plane, contacted the ball, right? If somebody on the crew says, hey, that's also a delay of game warning, of course, on us, a stern warning. Yeah. Yes. Also, if we have a situation where this happens again in the game after a delay of, let's say this play happened after a delay of game had already been issued, right? Do we have two technical fouls, one for violating the plane and contacting, and the other for doing something that is a delay of game, would rise to the level of a delay of game warning after one had been issued? And we have case play. The guidance there is the original technical foul of contacting the basketball is the only thing to be penalized in this instance, right? If we had a violation, a delay of game warning situation only, then that would be a technical foul, a team technical. In that, Yes, Jeff, you are absolutely correct. The restriction on the thrower, on the defensive player for violating the boundary plane ends when? When the throw-in ends? No, it does not. When the throw-in is released, a defensive player may then violate the boundary plane. There's no restriction preventing that once the throw-in is released. Good point. Many officials are unaware of that. Let's just say that. Sunshine in Dakotas? What? I thought the Midwest was inundated. I don't know how to pronounce that. I need help. I got back 9. Tiger? Back 9? Greg, what does that refer to? Only on a spot throw-in. No, once the throw-in is released, right? So we have to make a judgment as a crew or as the administering official, right? After a scored goal, obviously a teammate can throw the ball to a teammate out of bounds, and a defensive player may not reach through and violate the boundary plane and contact the basketball while it's in flight between those players. But on a throw-in pass, right, if let's say there are no players out of bounds, and the throw-in pass is actually to a teammate who's inbounds, but they are across the court, so it has to travel a long distance. When it's a throw-in pass, the restriction ends on the release. So I think I understand where you're coming from, Greg, but that would be... Your judgment is incorrect. Back 9 was part of the question. T. Garback 9. Okay. All right. Right. It's like a jumble or a puzzle, right? Or you see somebody's license plate and you like try to analyze what a vanity plate. What's the message here? Well, I got that one wrong. All right. How about another throw-in situation? After Team A had previously been given a warning for delay for breaking the throw-in plane during a Team B throw-in in the first half, A1 reaches through the boundary on a Team B throw-in during the second half. The officials rule a team technical foul on Team A. 2 free throws and the ball at the division line opposite the table. Were the officials correct? Yes or no? So, Team A in the first half had been given a delay of game warning for breaking the throw-in plane. In the second half, they take an action that would rise to the level of a delay of game warning by violating the boundary plane again. The officials rule this to be a team technical. Were the officials correct? Yes or no in this instance? That is the question. Were they correct? Yes, they were. This is the way to handle this situation. After a team has been given any of the warnings related to delay prior, when a subsequent action that would rise to the level of a delay of game warning occurs after one had previously been given, that is a team technical foul by rule. In this situation, if the same player had done the violating, right, it's a team technical foul by rule. So our officials got this one correct. team's really killing it today. I mean, a high percentage, despite Zooch jinxing them, like voodoo dolling. It's like, oh, they're 3-0. Okay. I think I may have only one play remaining. Holy cow. I do use the stern warning language facetiously when I do Pee Wee games here. CYO games, lower level. There's no press rule, right? And sometimes we get a situation where a team starts to play defense in the backcourt when a big lead, right? And I will facetiously turn to the coach, stop play, turn to the coach, and give them consider this to be a stern warning, sir. No press for the big lead, right? I do that. In the first half, there was a delay of game warning to the team so what are our warnings? There are 4 delay of game warnings, right? Violating the boundary plane, preventing the ball from being made live by, let's say, after a scored goal, batting the ball, right? Preventing the team from getting the ball. Having the court not ready after a timeout, right? The teams are huddling. They spill some water on the floor during a 30-second timeout. We have to delay the game to repair that situation. Or the one I've never, ever, and never will, huddling during a free throw. Ay, ay, ay. Billy Mack, how did I do? Ay, ay, ay. Huddling in the lane. Has anybody ever assessed a delay of game warning for huddling in the lane? Fess up. All right, I got him. Whew. Yes. So, Greg, I think our situation where it's a player technical is if I'm making an assumption where we have a player technical for let's say after a scored goal, a player bats the ball away. That's a delay of game warning. Let's say after a scored goal, player takes the ball and throws it up into the top of the bleachers. That's a player technical. Kevin. 447-2. 447-2. I have no idea what that is. Have I missed? Has anybody? Yes. I get. Jacob's in the house. Good to see you. You say you had a delay. Rubbing the shooter's shoes. That's pretty cute. All right. Well, we've had some great scenarios today. Let's end with one final scenario for the day. Let's take a look at our final scenario. After a goal by Team B, A1 has the ball for a throw-in along the end line. A1 extends her arms over the end line so that her forearms, hands, and ball are entirely on the inbound side of the boundary line. B2 slaps A1 on the wrist and dislodges the ball. The officials rule an intentional foul on B2. 2 free throws to A1 and a designated spot throw-in nearest the spot of the foul. Were the officials correct? Yes or no? Is this the correct ruling in this scenario? After a scored goal, player has the ball for a throw-in. Maybe steps towards the line to release, but extends the ball through the boundary plane. The defensive player contacts A1 on the wrist and dislodges the basketball. The officials rule an intentional foul in this scenario. Were the officials correct? Yes or no? Yes. Yes, they were. This is an intentional foul by rule. Thinking it through, it's just like contacting. We know that contacting reaching through the boundary plane and contacting the thrower, but the thrower has extended over the court, right? But that does not eliminate the restriction. You cannot contact the thrower illegally in this instance. It is an intentional foul on the offending player by rule. Now, we know that in a situation where you reach through the boundary plane and contact the thrower, that's also an intentional foul accompanied by a delay of game warning for violating the boundary plane. In this instance, we do not have that warning because there has been no violation of the boundary plane, but the illegal contact on the thrower is an intentional foul by rule. Intentional foul by... Oh, no. Oh, no. No. Oh, you... Jeff, you made me doubt myself for a moment. Oh. I thought, oh no, I'm going to have to edit that out or I'm going to have to redo it. Intentional personal foul is the correct ruling. Michael Hogue says common foul. Rick Watson, Michael, you should be doubting yourself. I said intentional. Rick says intentional. It is an intentional foul to contact the thrower. Just contacting the ball or tying up by only contacting the ball would be illegal play. What would happen if the inbounder hits the defender with the ball and the hand that is that an intentional, right? Right, so let's say we have a defensive player here and we have an offensive player who extends the ball through the boundary plane and swings up and contacts the defender. Would that be an intentional foul? I would say no. Because the defensive player has not contacted the thrower. The thrower has contacted the defensive player. In football, the wrist is the hand also. The wrist is not the hand in NFHS rules. I guess in football, they're specifically saying that the wrist is to be considered part of the hand. I don't know anything about football rules. I'm assuming that that's the case. Correct, Robert. Correct. The hand is part of the ball in this situation. So A1 down by 2 points. A1 reaches the ball through the plane. B1 grabs the ball for a jump ball, but the refs call a foul. Calls B1 for a foul. I don't know why they would do that. that would be an incorrect ruling. If the defensive player in this situation grabbed the basketball and forced a held ball situation, it is a held ball by rule. If it was an alternating possession throw-in, the throw-in has not ended, and the throwing team would get the ball back. That's something we can take with us onto the court. Is it illegally contacting the thrower in that situation? Let's say the thrower loses their balance and pushes the arm of the defender who has their hands up. There has been contact between the thrower and the defensive player. I would say, in my judgment, that contacting the thrower, it's just like intentionally playing the ball, right? You are taking an action. If you are contacting a thrower, I mean, let's say we have a defensive player who's standing and they are on the court and they are legal and their verticality, and the thrower takes some action where they're, let's say, trying to, it's the coach's son and he thinks, hey, I can get an intentional foul here by swinging my arms into the player before I release the ball. So they jump forward onto the court and swing their arms up into our player who is in a legal position. I would say it's certainly not the spirit and intent of the rule to penalize the defender in that situation. Oh. Another inaccurate Well, what kind of case plays do we have about hand being part of the ball? I don't think we have much clarity other than by rule the hand is part of the ball. I don't know, right? Because yeah, so in any instance where the ball, a defensive player swipes down and they contact a player who is holding the basketball, let's say, and dislodge the ball by contacting their fingers, right? And the official rules, hand is part of the ball. It's not illegal contact. These are the, do we have definitive rulings in this instance? The only way we'd get into a definitive ruling is through a case play. Just like the first play, or not the first play, the second play where we have dead ball technicals, against a player taunting a player he just fouled, and then a teammate comes in clapping in their face. They happen very closely together, right? We think, oh, those are simultaneous because they're so close together, but case play says they're not, right? Your first reaction is this. Without the case play, a case could be made in both ways, right? So it would be great to get some case plays that clarified that situation. Hand on the ball, right? Wouldn't be hard to do. That'd be a great a gag gift for an official, or a gift for an official. Hey, here's a basketball with hands attached to it. Hands part of the ball. A1 leans over the plane with his offhand, touches and contacts the defender in a legal defensive position. I believe our ruling in that situation is throw-in violation. Thrower out of bounds, has the ball for a throw-in, loses their balance, reaches out, puts a hand on the defender. That's a throw-in violation by rule. It's one of those non-intuitive contacting a player. Am I right about that? Help me out. Mike Goodwin, give me the case play. I believe that is the scenario. All right. Short show today. I hope everybody has great games. I have a game tonight at Piedmont High School with my partner who I had that pregame dunking technical foul with. So I'm going to wrap it up early. This will be a short show to edit, so I'll be able to do it pretty quickly. Oh, well, if you had it last night. Yeah, it sounds like snow is an issue. That must cause just all sorts of drama with rescheduling games and what have you. That is what the confusing part of me is about the case play, is the thrower reaching out and contacting a defender who's on the court being a violation on the thrower. It's just non-intuitive because if I touch a player out of bounds, I'm not out of bounds. Awesome T Garback 9. Having nothing to do with back 9. Not a network game. A Piedmont High School does not have that. Only a limited numbers here. Yeah, my game last night was a rivalry game. Very close proximity. A couple of great student sections. So on Friday, I'll have that last second play. There's elements to the play that are very valuable to look at. Timing of everything, how it occurred, mechanics in that throw-in situation. A coach who's out of a timeout who comes rushing at the lead official. Lots of good stuff. That's why we look at plays. Yeah, so I've had some people tell me about situations where NCAA women's, of course, now when there's a technical foul after the game that would not affect the outcome of the game, we still shoot the free throws by rule. Had that, and of course that's directly related to gambling. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Kamali. Yeah, so that practice your disqualification process. So if we get to that forfeiture situation. Vendor is part of, but they are a plan. Yeah. All right. Awesome. Well, I am going to wrap it up. I'm going to let everybody go. I appreciate everybody joining today. I had a good time. My tech team made it happen. Pretty seamless, except for that coffee extravaganza. So we will say goodbye and see everybody on Friday for some great plays. Look forward to it, and see you then. Take care.